Hey everyone, it's Frederick Kramer here, and in today's video I want to cover how I personally book appointments for myself without spending hours in outreach, and for you this might be practical. Firstly, if you don't have someone that you can hire right now, but you want to do outreach but don't, spend that much time on it for whatever reason really, but maybe, you have your sales delivery, you have people that you're actually taking sales calls with actively, maybe you just want to actually live life, do something besides the business, literally anything. But also if you have people, maybe you have setters right now, but you want them to be able to book more calls, and they obviously probably also want to book more calls with the same amount of time that they have, and this can obviously help you with that. So without further ado, let's get into the practical things. But actually before I do that, I just want to preface, and the reason I don't have it on the main screen is because I don't want to show you all the names, and I was honestly too lazy to blur all the names out. So just to show you that I'm actually booking the calls, the green ones are actual people that I'm booking sales calls with. So how do I actually do this? Now obviously it depends on your outreach method, and once again, for you personally, the best way to reduce the time that you spend on outreach is obviously to just delegate it. But then again, you obviously want the people that book calls for you to also be as time efficient as possible, because they can book you more calls when they have that. And to be completely honest with you, I wrote this. So I'm just going to tell you what I do. And this is basically just to have a background for the video. So the first thing is you need to dissect the different parts of outreach, because most people are yeah, my outreach takes too long. But what is outreach actually? Now obviously this depends on the method. As a practical example, I'm going to use, let's say, Instagram DM outreach, which is something that I've done in the past and that I'm still currently doing. So with Instagram outreach, you need to obviously find the people. So you've got lead sourcing. You need to reach out to the people, so initiating new conversations. Then you need to reply to them. Then you need to track all of the data. Then you need to know when to send the next follow-ups, and then you need to send the follow-ups, both follow-ups cold follow-ups and also warm follow-ups, which is basically the only difference is did they already reply to you. And then you also need to do some things with your account to make sure that you don't get banned or something, and then you need to manage the volume. But that is really it. If you get all of these things right and you are sending good messaging in the first place, then you will be good to go to have everything going with outreach, and you're going to book calls. So you need to dissect these parts, because only when you have them separate, you can optimize them in terms of how much time you take. And it's just, you just get a better overview. Whenever you have a better overview over something, then a better overview over something, you're just going to execute on that cleaner, as opposed to when you're a bit confused or everything's all over the place. And yeah, obviously tracking data, if I didn't mention that, is also a big important part. Now obviously with outreach particularly, there are obviously different methods for outreach. So for example, if you're just sending email, that will take you a lot less time, but on the other hand, it also costs you money. Obviously it depends a bit on the different versions. So again, for this video I'm going to go over Instagram outreach. Could also work for LinkedIn, for Twitter, X, for School, for all of these platforms. And one of the things that is going to have the most drastic impact on how effective or how much time you spend on outreach is how good your messaging is. Because when you have a higher booking rate on the DMs that you send, then you need to send less DMs to get the same amount of bookings. Meaning, let's say you compare 1% appointment booking rate to 2% appointment booking rate. You want to get to a certain number of calls, and you want to increase your efficiency. Either you can now have double the calls, or you just spend half the time on lead sourcing, on handling replies, on tracking people, on literally anything. So that's a huge thing. But if you're already in KPI and it's just about getting to either to increase the volume or to spend less time on that, or both, or something like that, then the next few things are going to be important. So the thing is, you need to get every single part, and then you want to systemize this. And it's not as complicated as you think, because in this case, systemizing is just writing down exactly what you do, put these steps into an order, put them into some Google Doc, and each time you go through the process, you can just have these steps there in front of you. And what I also like to do, let me actually pull this up real quick. So what this could look like, and this is one example that I use for myself, which is literally first step is open the documents that you have for the different things. And then it's okay, check if you've got new bookings. If so, then track them. And you can what I also like to do is just have this tickable box here, because when you're done, you're just done. You can immediately move on to the next. And it's not because when you click done, then you know that you've actually done everything, because sometimes you forget about stuff. And especially this part of outreach, it used to take me a lot more time, but now that it's just okay, have I done this, have I done that exactly? very simple. I can just go through that, can say like, okay, did I track this? Did I send that? On what days do I do this? Also got that for LinkedIn. And then you basically just go through the process. You can just check these things off. It's just a certain amount of things. So for example, on LinkedIn, it could just be, okay, open these documents, check your email, like did the people book calls? If nobody booked your call, you can just skip the step. If somebody booked your call and it's from LinkedIn, then you can go through the things, you track them in whatever sheet you've got for that, and you also track them for the sales sheet. Then you have like you handle the replies, which is like firstly you reply to everyone, then you track every single conversation. You do this for each account. Then you check basically how many people saw the messages that you've been sending. Then you start sending like cold follow-ups, which is basically just just checking that you actually saw this for the people that either ghosted you or didn't see your message at all in the first place. Basically just everyone that didn't reply. And then you send one follow-ups to people that have already told you like that they're interested. And then there's like okay, honestly, I'm not doing this anymore, so I could actually remove this, but there's other things that are a bit more important than removing, like updating something every single second that something changes. But this is basically the process, and then you can just go through that. It's very quick and very easy to do. And the cool thing about this, because yeah, it might take you some time to write this down, probably just like 15 minutes, if at most that. But honestly, each time you go through the process, it's going to give you so much more clarity. And it's like, just by batching this thing, for example, here, and this process, by the way, is also like, this is everything that I do besides sourcing new leads, checking out that the account doesn't like get banned or anything like that, and initiating new people. I think that's really it, because yeah, sure, if somebody replies, I'm going to be sure that I can reply as quickly as possible given whatever circumstances. So usually I've already replied to them and I'm just tracking them at this point. But this is like everything else from the process, and this makes it like way quicker if you just have this. And I also have this for like initiating, where it's literally just initiated X people on this account, on this account, on this account. I just tick off like all of these boxes, and then I'm done with that. And it takes me maybe like half a minute or something to get someone like initiated there, and everything is like perfectly documented, everything is tracked, everything is clean, and I don't need to worry about this at all. And if I'm done with the process, I don't know if you can imagine this, but like once I have done the things in this sheet here, I don't worry about this part of the business at all. The only thing that I worry about next time is replying to the people. But also then I just keep them on unread on Instagram, for example, or on LinkedIn. And then next time I go through this process here, which I by the way do every single day, I just like go through all of the people that are marked as unread, and then I track them in my documents for that. So this is basically what you need to do with every single part of the process. And you can also do this with lead sourcing. You can do this with literally any part of the process, like I was saying. And again, this makes you very like much more quicker to execute. It also makes you way less distractible, especially when you're on like some other platform. Somebody else reaches out to you, you quickly reply to them. You just wouldn't do that if you knew exactly, okay, these are my steps. This is what I need to do right now. And again, like I also have this like for handling email replies or something like that. Or like for sourcing like large data sets on email or something. I have this for really anything that I do like on a daily basis or even weekly basis. And the cool thing about this, the really, really cool thing is, as soon as you have people hired that do this for you, you can just share the document with them, record a quick Loom video where you explain what you're actually doing in that process, send that to them, and if they have any questions at all about this and don't already know exactly what they need to do, you can just answer them. When you've got like a certain amount of question, you just make a new video or like add that to the video, and then they know exactly what they need to do when they execute on that process. And this makes them quicker. It reduces the amount of micromanagement that you need to have for other people executing on that process. And yeah, that's really it. But it just saves you like a lot of time. And yeah, exactly. There are some other things as well which you can do. So for example, when you're sending follow-ups, now I think I would dox myself, or I'll show you exactly what my follow-ups are, but what I basically have, like when I reach out to somebody for the first time and they don't reply, then I send them like a follow-up. What I have here is I've downloaded like a program that's called Espanso, ESPANSO, and with that I can have like number combinations or like any sort of combination. And for example, when I write 112, I just have this written out immediately. So I don't need to write this each and every time. But I also don't need to go to some other random tracking sheet and copy paste this, because firstly, this takes time. Secondly, LinkedIn, Instagram, and all of these platforms don't like that. And it makes you way less likely to get banned, because this looks like you're just really fast at typing and not like you're just copy pasting something. And this also makes it like a lot quicker. I also have like certain like images if you're doing like, or like videos, if you have like a VSL in your messaging or something, you can just upload that straight from like a standardized folder. You don't need to search for that every time. Also makes it a lot quicker. And you can also do this on your phone. Like if you're doing this on the phone, I also have that there. So you can just, like I for example use Gboard as an app. You can just go for like I think they call it dictionary in English, and you can just write like the combination or like the pair of like messaging and whatever number combination or like letter combination that you want to have, and just put it in there, and then you just press like 3 letters and you immediately reached out to somebody. That obviously saves you like a lot of time. And yeah, what other general things are there? Like you can just, it's some small principles. Honestly, I think it's not too leveraged to talk about like a lot of these things, but yeah, basically this is super vague, honestly. But yeah, just put all of the, like, basically in summary, go through all of the things that you do for outreach, no matter what your method is. If it's like Facebook DMs, Instagram DMs, LinkedIn DMs, email outreach, even for cold calling, you just go through like everything that you do, which is probably like finding the leads, reaching out to people, handling the replies, tracking these people, tracking what other things you might have in your system, following up with people, all of that. You can just like track that down. And by the way, also when you do this, like sometimes you find things that AI can like easily automate or something, for like, for example, like hey reach on LinkedIn or something. And it also just makes the process a lot simpler. But even for yourself, like even if you just do this 100% manually, it's still going to save you a lot of time. And then you just go through all of these things. And especially when you go through this every day, you're going to see some things that you can actually improve and make a little bit quicker. And then there's also, like I was saying, such things as like keyboard combinations for follow-ups or something. And yeah, it just makes it like a lot quicker, like I was saying. You could use it for yourself or other people. And yeah, like the main thing that's going to get you quicker at that point when you have all of that is just constantly thinking, like, how can I make this quicker? Because like you should be always thinking about that, because yeah, sure, your business outreach is like important, but they're like things that keep the boat running, so to speak, and things that make the boat go faster. And you should be spending as much of your time as you can on making the boat go faster. The only thing that the only reason why you do outreach is is because it books you sales calls or some other. Oh, sorry. How can I explain this? Like you have like parts in your business. If every part of your business was perfectly working, you wouldn't be doing the outreach yourself, because you would have money to pay other people to do that. So if you were like in a place, no, if you're not in that place where somebody else doing outreach, technically doing outreach makes the boat go faster. Maybe I'm just off a tangent here. I think it's way too complicated for the video to explain that. But what was I saying? Oh, dude, I hate this when I get so confused about certain topics. Sorry, man. So, yeah, it's basically just like go through the process, optimize that, think of like how can I make this quicker, because if you spend less time on the things that just keep the boat running, you have more time to keep the boat to make the boat go faster, add new things, test variables. It's just way better. Like you should always be trying to optimize and have as little time spent as possible on the things that don't actually accelerate or like boost the business, as opposed to like just like keeping it moving, you know. So that's really it for this video. If you've got any sort of particular questions, anything unclear, anything at all, just drop me that in the comments. You can also reach out to me on Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever. And yeah, looking forward to talking to you in the next one. Bye.